So lighter and smaller cars is a big potential if you look at the transportation, the basic transportation need. And trucks, they can be developed to take more cargo. That will also make them more efficient. And we can see more investments for energy saving on vehicles and on crafts, both on ships, aircrafts, and land-going vehicles. So costly fuel devices like energy storage, could be flywheel or electric or pressurized air, waste heat recovery, exhaust temperature typically are high, or cooling effort can be, with costly method, be transferred into useful energy. And load point optimization has a big potential if you want to spend some money for the transmission or the gadget that is needed to exploit that fully. Combustion and gas exchange system development, that's what we are doing in our combustion engine center Cicero. Control system development has a big potential, and after treatment development not to harm the performance of the engine. Friction reduction, both as a friction in the air or in the sea, and a friction in the machinery, in the gearbox and in the engine, can have also big potential if you can spend money on it, which is the reasonable thing to do. And then stimulation for low energy consumption by regulations and taxation. But they should be technique neutral. So you should not, I don't think you should try to force a certain technology for biased, I think it's the biased reasons more typically. And the European Union directive for 2012 is 130 grams per kilometer CO2, and this is, I think, is a good initiative, and I hope to see a strengthening of this initiative in the future. And they could also be perhaps transferred to other transport means as well. But you should also perhaps look at more test cycles than the test cycles now used for these 130 kilometer, because it's very schematized and it doesn't apply for many types of transport. And I have a personal suggestion, which I have tried on foreign people on a seminar some time ago, and I was very much against it. And so I'm thinking most often the discussion is opposite. You should have a big car for big distances and a small car for city drive. But I think the opposite should be the case. So you should, for a certain level, for instance, the 130 gram level or another level should be the reasonable level for transportation. And then there should be ordinary taxation. But if you have a more emitting car, then you should have a kilometer-based taxation. You could read at the car testing every year, you could read the odometer and see the distance, so you could pay taxation for a kilometer. And that would drive the development towards using the less consuming car or the electric car. And I think that would be a wise thing. And bioenergy, I think, is more economically used for CO2 saving in heating and electricity production than for transport. It's no big technological difficulty to run engines on a various type of fuels. So just for training the engines to run on biofuels, I don't think it is a good way of uneconomically trying to uneconomically save CO2. So I think it should be used for other purposes in the first place. And bioenergy production should be supported. I think it is very promising if you could produce from alga. Then the seas could be used for for this production. And there are big investments on alga production. And then you could use it for the transportation. For the transportation, it's very difficult to electrify, and the hydrocarbon fuels, gaseous, but foremost liquid fuel, is very advantageous to use for transportation. So, but first you should cover the heating and electric production from the biomass. So, and I think one should be restricted with investments or big investments in both research or in production for things that might be important in the future, because it's very difficult to understand this development. So that's what I wanted to say. Thank you.